2:25. Israel Standard Time, 14:25. Daf Yomi, Makos 22. And today is the 16th day of the Omer, and it is Rosh Chadash. But please do not make the mistake that today's Daf is Makos 22. Today's Daf is Makos 21. I usually record the Daf a day before, so if you want to associate the day of the Omer, the 16th day of the Omer, which is Rosh Chodesh Iyar, think about Makos 21. But today is Makos 22, which has a numerical value of 488. What is the meaning of 488? There's a few numerical equivalencies to that number. The first one that came to mind was the word Tzva Hashamayim, the host of heaven. U'tzva Hashamayim L'chamish Tachavim, as it says in the Psalms, which is 488. Yeah, in regular standard Hebrew gematria. Another word, another correlation. So Makos 22 equals 488, which equals Tzva Hashamayim, the host of heaven. It also equals Kochvei Lechet. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe a shooting star. I'm not sure. It's my guess. It also stands for. It also is Ro'ei Yitzchak. That's a good one. The shepherds of Isaac. And I think that's different. And Patach, and open. 488. Matchil, to begin. I think Patach and Matchil are synonymous. Okay. And with that, let's start. We are on the top of 22a, Makos, with the words Mishum Havore or Mishum Havara, depending on your Havara, your pronunciation. It's interesting that Havara means kindling a fire, and Havara spelled differently, like I think it was an I, means pronunciation. So it's kind of a play on words there. Mishum Havara, for violating the prohibition of kindling a fire on a festival. ואם איתה משום העבר לא מחייב, והחייב למשום אישור, הפה קררה ועל גיד אנושי שנביא לו. He is, and if it is so that there is no division of laborers on a festival, he is not liable for violating the prohibition of kindling a fire, as he is already liable for violating the prohibition of cooking the sciatic nerve on a festival. And my question was yesterday, why should a person be, we talked about how many sets of lashes a person would be liable to receive if they cooked a sciatic nerve on the festival or on Shabbat. So there's no prohibition. I mean, the Torah prohibition is lo tvashel gedi b'chalei bimo. Do not cook a kid in its mother's milk. It's not to cook a sciatic nerve in the mother's milk. So I don't know why dioraita, meaning biblically, it would be worthy or liable to lashes. That was my question yesterday. But my sort of cute answer is that gedi is like gid, same letter as gedi. So maybe connects to it. I don't know. Rava said removing kindling from the list of 5 prohibitions for which he is flogged, as he is not liable for violating that prohibition, and insert the prohibition of eating the sciatic nerve of an unslaughtered animal carcass. לא ידבק בידיך. The Gemara asks, but didn't Rabbi Chia teach a braita that summarizes the prohibitions listed in this Mishnah. One is flogged with 2 sets of lashes for his eating and 3 sets of lashes for his cooking. And if it is so that the prohibition of kindling a fire is replaced with the prohibition of eating the sciatic nerve of an unslaughtered animal carcass, he is liable to receive 3 sets of lashes for his eating, for eating a sciatic nerve, for eating meat cooked in milk, and for eating an unslaughtered animal carcass. Rather say, remove kindling from the list of prohibitions and insert the prohibition of using wood of a tree worshipped as part of idolatrous rites, whose prohibition is derived from here, and nothing of the dedicated item shall cleave to your hand, Deuteronomy 13:18, indicating that it is forbidden to derive benefit from an accoutrements of idol worship. אלא, הכה במייסים, כגוין, שבישלוי בעצי ההקדיש, ועזרתם מהכה, ואשר הם תסחפון באש, לא תעשון כן להשם אלוקיכם. Rav Acha, son of Rabba, said to Rav Ashi, if the reference is to the wood of an Asherah, let him also be flogged for violating the prohibition of you shall not bring an abomination into your house, Deuteronomy 7:26. In addition to the other prohibitions enumerated. Rather say, what are we dealing with here? We are dealing with a case where one cooked the sciatic nerve with wood consecrated for use in the temple, whose warning, the source of its prohibition is from here. And there are Asherim, you shall burn in fire. You shall not do so to the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 12:3-4, indicating that when it destroys a consecrated item, violates a prohibition. Siman, Shanbai Shanaz. The Gemara provides a mnemonic, a siman, Shin Nun Bet Aleph Yud, Shin Nun Zayin, representing the Amoraim, who suggest additions to the 8 prohibitions violated by the person in the Mishnah who plows the field with diverse kinds. Hoshaya, Hananiah, Abahu, Abaye, Ashi, Ravina, and Zerah. It's interesting that when they do a siman, they don't always do the Rashi Tevos. They don't always do the acronym of the first letters of each name. They oftentimes use a letter from within a name. For example, Rav Hoshai, his name doesn't start with a shin, and yet they use the shin in his name as the moniker, which I find interesting. But anyway, Rav Hoshai. Rav Yehoshua objects to this, and let the Tana also enumerate in his list the prohibition of sowing in a forceful stream, the land where a heifer's neck is broken by the elders of the city closest to the corpse of a murder victim whose murderer is unknown. And its prohibition is from here. And the elders of that city shall bring the heifer down to a forceful stream, which will be neither plowed nor sown. Deuteronomy 21:4. The verse is written in the future tense as a prohibition for the future. It is prohibited to work the land there after the heifer's neck is broken. Maskiv lo Hananiah, v'lech shavnam yemoichik es Hashem milachasoi, v'azartem yacha, v'ibaletem es shemam b'gano. Rav Hananiah objects to this, and let the Tana also enumerate one who erases the name of God in the course of his walking and plowing, and its prohibition is from here, and you shall destroy their names. You shall not do so to the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 12:3. 4. Maskifla, Rabbi Abahu, B'lechshod nami hakoitzitz es behaltoi. Hakoitzitz es behaltoi. Vazalteviach hahishamer b'negat zaraz. This week's parsha, Mamish. Rabbi Abahu objects to this, and let the Tana also enumerate one who severs his snow white leprous mark in the course of his plowing. And its prohibition is from here. Take heed of the plague of leprosy. Deuteronomy 24, verse 8, indicating the prohibition against severing the mark. If someone has leprosy on their skin, they're not allowed to cut it off. Interesting. According to this. Maskif le'abaye v'lech shenam yameziach achoshen mi'alo efoid yamesir b'dei ha'oi v'zartem yacho v'lo yasur lo yazar. Abaye objects to it, and let the Tana also enumerate one who loosens the breastplate from upon the ephod in the course of plowing, or one who removes the staves of the Ark of the Covenant, and its prohibition is from here. The staves shall be in the rings of the Ark. They shall not be removed from it, Exodus 25:15, while the relevant verse with regard to the breastplate is, and the breastplate shall not be loosened from the ephod, Exodus 28:28. Maskif lo Rashi v'leishav nami hakoish b'atzeh shecho ve'ashalte me'acham v'lo yidbak b'yodecha mi'umah v'goyimah. Rav Ashi objects to this, and let the Tana also enumerate one who plows with a plow crafted from the wood of an asherah, and his prohibition is from here. And there shall cleave nothing of the dedicated item to your hand. Deuteronomy 13:18. Maskif lavavina v'lechshav nami hakoitzitz ilanos toivos ve'ashalte me'acham ki mimenu toichal yoisoi lo yizichois. Ravina objects to this, and let the Tana also enumerate one who chops down beautiful fruit trees in the course of plowing, and its prohibition is from here. For you may eat of it, and you shall not chop it down. Deuteronomy 20:19. Yom Tov Hasam lo kachala shivua Mushba ve'oin min Yar Sinai Hu Amar le ki goin dama shivua shlo echosh Ben bachol ben bayom tov Demigo de chala ale shivua bechol Chala ale name bayom tov Mide de ite v'she'ela eloketani. Rabbi Zeira said to Rahmani, let the Tana also enumerate a case where one says, on my oath I will not plow on the festival, then proceeds to violate his oath. Rahmani said, there the oath does not take effect, as he is already under oath from Mount Sinai not to plow on a festival, and an oath does not take effect when another oath is already in effect. Rabbi Zeira said to him, the oath can take effect in a case where one says, on my oath I will not plow, whether during the week or on a festival, as in that case, since the oath takes effect in his regard during the week, it takes effect in his regard on a festival as well. Rabbi Mani replied, the Mishnah did not include that prohibition because the Tana is not teaching a matter that is in the category of those matters subject to dissolution by means of posing a request to a Torah scholar, as oaths fall into that category. This case is not enumerated in the Mishnah. Rabbi Zeira asked, I don't think we'll make it by 2:42. Rabbi Zeira asked, and did the Tana not teach matter subject to dissolution by means of a Torah scholar, but isn't there the matter of consecrated animals whose sanctity can be repealed by means of dissolution of the vow by a Torah scholar, which was included in the Mishnah? Rabbi Mani answered that Tana is referring to a firstborn animal, which is consecrated from the womb. Since it was not consecrated by means of a vow, the sanctity cannot be dissolved by a Torah scholar. Rabbi Zera asked, but isn't there the matter of the impurity of a Nazirite, whose vow of Naziriteship can be dissolved by a Torah scholar, which was included in the Mishnah? Rabbi Mani answered, the reference in the Mishnah is to one who is a Nazirite like Samson, for whom there is no dissolution. Nazir Shimshon ba'itamo'i lametimu elahaytana isukol eletle. Rabbi Zera asked, is a Nazirite like Samson subject to the prohibition of contracting impurity imparted by corpses? He is not. The Tana enumerated the prohibition of a Nazirite becoming impure with impurity imparted by a corpse. Clearly, he is not a Nazirite like Shimshon, like Samson. Rather, the Tana does not enumerate the case of one who violated an oath not to plow during the week and on a festival, because this Tana is not of the opinion that a more inclusive prohibition takes effect when the standard prohibition does not take effect, just as with regard to one who takes an oath not to perform labor on a festival. The oath does not take effect, so too, even if he adds to it an oath not to plow during the week, it does not take effect because he is already under oath from Sinai not to plow on a festival. Amar Yehoshua, Amar bi'ashor pesui mikdashim lo keshnai. Amar Yitzchak, Amar b'shor pesui mikdashim lo ikesh shari guf echad hu yasar v'gaz kishnei gufim. Rabbi Yehoshua says, one who breeds a disqualified consecrated ox, the female, even of the same species, is flogged with 2 sets of lashes, one for labor with a disqualified consecrated animal, and one for breeding 2 animals of diverse kinds. Even after the animal is desacralized through redemption, it remains prohibited to perform labor with it. It is considered diverse kinds because the Torah accorded disqualified consecrated animals the status of 2 animals. One is consecrated and one non-sacred. If one breeds such an animal with an ox, it is as though he bred it with an animal of different species, thereby violating the prohibition. Likewise, Rabbi Yitzchak says, one who drives a disqualified consecrated ox to plow the field is flogged as it is one body. And the verse accorded it the status of 2 bodies. One who plows with 2 different species of animals together is liable to receive lashes. The Mishnah said, that's the end of that Talmud for that Mishnah, and now we're starting a new Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Kama Malkin Oisoi Al Boim Kosal Achas 40 minus 1 Shinema B'mispar Arba'im Minayin Shusamach Arba'im Rabbi Yehuda Omer Arba'im Shlemot Hu Loike Behechan Hu Loike Eseiseho Bein Kitefav. With how many lashes does one flog a person sentenced to receive lashes? One flogs him with 40 lashes minus 1. 40 less 1, as it is stated, and he shall strike him before him in accordance with his wickedness by number. 40 he shall strike him, he shall not add. Deuteronomy 25, 2 and 3. The Mishnah joins the end of the first verse and the beginning of the second, forming the phrase by number 40, which is interpreted as a sum adjacent to 40. Rabbi Yehuda says he is flogged the full 40 lashes. And where is he flogged the extra lash? As the Mishnah proceeds to explain, that the 39 lashes are divided into 3 and administered in 3 places on the body of the person being flogged, according to For Yehuda there is one lash that remains. The lash is ministered between his shoulders. One assesses the number of lashes that the one being punished is capable of withstanding, only with a number of lashes fit to be divided into 3 equal groups. If the assessment was that he can survive 20 lashes, he is flogged with 18. Likewise, if doctors assess concerning him that he is able to receive 40 lashes and survive, and he is then flogged some of those 40 lashes.